Welcome to Aquarium Arts. This is our top 10 beginner fish video. We're gonna start with our top 5 non-reef safe fish on this video. Starting at number 5 is the Klein's butterfly. These are a bright orange, sometimes yellow fish with a blue mark at the front. They acclimate very well to captivity, and yeah, they're just an awesome fish, very easy to care for. So to be successful with this fish, the key is the diet. Butterfly fish are omnivorous fish, so with these guys, you're going to be feeding them brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, different types of krill. Sometimes you can put a big piece of krill in there and they'll pluck out the eye off of it. The eye has lots of awesome nutrients in it. And then algae is key for these guys. If you don't feed them algae, they will get head and lateral line erosion. Number 4 for our non-reef safe fish is the Quran angelfish. These guys are an awesome fish. They look like the emperor angel, but they're actually a little less sensitive than the emperor angel. We also find that they're actually a little less aggressive as juveniles. However, when they get big, they can get very, very aggressive. So what we recommend doing is either add it at the beginning with a bunch of other fish or add it towards the end of your stocking list. For diet, it's pretty much gonna be the same thing as the Klein's butterfly. You can also add in though, the little clams on the half shells. Number 3 for our non-reef safe fish is the humu humu triggerfish. This is a classic aquarium fish, commonly collected out of Hawaii. Unfortunately, Hawaii, at the moment of this video being posted, is not open for collection, but putting this guy in your aquarium, you'll want to do some of the smaller ones if it's a new aquarium because they're not as aggressive and mean. If you've got an established aquarium with very aggressive fish already, you can add this guy towards the end. Diet for these guys, you want to be feeding them clams on the half shell periodically. That's to keep their teeth filed down. And then krill is an awesome option for these guys. They'll also snack on the brine shrimp and mysis shrimp that the other fish are eating. The next one on the list is the Indian Ocean black trigger. This is not a reef safe fish. It'll eat ornamental crustaceans. The best thing about these guys is you can actually put a bunch of them into a school together. I've seen big 300-gallon tanks with a bunch of them. Even if you're just doing one, I would recommend a minimum tank of probably 75 to 100 gallons just because they love to swim back and forth up and down the tank. For diet on these guys, you're gonna wanna feed them the same sort of stuff you're feeding your humu humu trigger. The last one for this video on our non-reef safe fish is the dog-faced puffer. It's one of my favorite ones, that's why I saved it for last. I love these guys because their name is true to what they are. They remind me of my dog when I get home. They'll come up to the glass, they'll hang out with you. As far as diet, it's gonna be the same thing as your triggerfish. The one thing I might add is they do really enjoy getting a little bit of seaweed now and again, and it kind of helps keep their vibrant color on them. The last tip I have for picking these guys up is checking the dates on our tags and making sure it's one that's been here for a little while. Now that we've covered our non-reef safe fish in this video, it's time to move into our reef safe fish. One of my favorites is gonna be the lyre-tailed anthias. Now I might get a little bit of pushback recommending this to beginners, but lyre-tailed anthias are this simple. Set up an auto feeder. That's it. That's all you gotta do, and you will have an awesome time with these guys. Just gotta keep up on the water changes with that increased feeding. They recommend a feeding 5 times a day. You can easily accomplish that with pellet foods. Very high protein pellet foods will keep these guys healthy. Number 2 on our reef safe fish list this week is the blue-side fairy wrasse. I love these guys, especially when they come in big like this. There's a couple different varieties of blue-side fairy wrasse. In here we've got some of the yellow-breasted ones and then some of the normal ones. The yellow, not yellow breast, yellow flank, that's what they'll call it. And that's an awesome variety of the blue-side wrasse. The reason I recommend these guys as a beginner fairy wrasse is because they acclimate very, very well to the system. On a scale of all the wrasses we bring in, we probably have the least trouble with these guys. For food, you're gonna wanna be feeding them lots of brine shrimp, lots of mysis shrimp. They're more omnivorous. They're gonna hang out, swimming out in the open of the tank. One thing I will say is if you wanna keep a lot of fairy wrasses, it's best to add them all at the same time. So if you wanted to add a carpenter's or a redfin or something, put it all at the same time, and yeah, you should be successful with this fish. Now the last thing I'll add, and this goes for all wrasses, I typically recommend that you have a lid on the aquarium because they do have a habit of jumping. All right, so our next one on the list for our reef safe fishes is going to be the diamond goby. This is a go-to fish for us. The only problem people have with these is they really, really, really love jumping. So you need a lid on this and you need to have just about everything covered possible or else they will get out. But other than that, if you want a fish that does something unique, you got little kids who like seeing goofy, weird stuff, they love to pick up the sand and filter through it. So they've got that fun behavior, a lot of fun to watch, but they also keep your sand clean, which is a plus. Next one on my list is the yellow canary wrasse. These are awesome. I love these guys so much because there's not a lot of yellow fish in the hobby anymore because yellow tangs aren't as readily available. And they do a dual purpose. So they're out swimming about, they're always going over the rocks, but really what they're looking for are things like flatworms. So if you've got a reef tank, this is a great fish to have in there because it'll help you keep up on your pests. Obviously you can dip your corals to avoid the pests, but having a fish in there eating is just an extra level of security. At night, they like to burrow into the sand, so you will need some fine sand for them. Usually, Carib Sea reef grade is totally fine. You don't need the sugar fine. The last thing about these guys is that you can keep them in a big group. And so that's why I like to order 45, 50 of them at a time, because it makes it more likely that we've got a good mix of males and females. And honestly, if you put a couple into the tank together, you can have a really, really cool look to your aquarium. Our last one for our reef safe fish is the blue eye coal tang. These are probably one of the best beginner tangs. The reason I say that is they're usually really not aggressive. So you can put them in the tank, they mind their own business, they eat a ton of algae. They're known as a type of bristle-tooth tang, so they just go all day. They're picking at the rocks, and it keeps the aquarium really, really clean. And then when you add other tangs, there's usually no issues. They don't tend to fight the other tangs. So thanks so much for watching. I really want to hear your top 10 beginner fish. Go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll talk to you guys about them. If you have any questions about these fish, feel free to reach out. We're very happy to help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.